Hey Keaton, alrighty, pick up from where we left off last night. I had a long day, so kind of getting at this late. Not going to get a whole lot done today, but what I want to do is show you the proper way. I'm not going to show you my chicken shit way of getting that there piston and that there cylinder, and then if I have time, I'll show you how to put it onto the motorcycle. All right, so I'm going to try and rig up something so you can see me use this tool here. It's called a piston ring compressor. It compresses these piston rings around the piston so it can slide in here. All right. As with all this stuff, it's really important to just use a ton of lubrication on everything. The inside of this is going to get oiled up. The piston, everything on it's oiled up. I mean, not just the rings, but the skirt, everything. You can't use enough oil. And then the inside of the bore, the cylinder, I'm gonna lube that up real good. Remember, lube is your friend. Alrighty, so like I said, to start with, we have to get everything well lubed up. And I'm using this red line oil because that's what I have. It doesn't really matter. No, synthetic oil isn't something you necessarily want to break your engine in with, but it'll do fine. Just for getting everything lubed up. So I just goop it on. I put some in my hand like that and start spreading. Kind of like greasing up a pig. Same thing with the piston, good and oiled up. And then this piston ring compressor, you want to do the same thing did. Everything should be greased up real good. All right. So what basically we're going to do is we're going to put this over the piston. It's going to compress the rings. We're going to bring it up to here, and then we're going to push the piston into the bore of the cylinder. All right. So let me kind of set up for that. I've got everything greased up real well. I got the piston ring compressor. This is really a pretty simple operation. It's just a band that tightens up. All right. So there is an orientation I want to put this in to make it easier, you know, when I get everything in place. I found the smoothest lip on this compressor, and that's the side I want the piston to come out of. But basically, I just pick it up, take a look at it, and remember we talked about the gaps on the compression rings. We want to have those right? So kind of just looking at this, making sure everything's nice and loose and kind of where I want it. And then we just put the piston into the compressor, being careful not to ding anything up more than you have to, right? And these compressors this one will go from like a 3-inch to 7-inch, all right? So once I have it in there, then you just use this tool and you start tightening this band up. Ooh. Which is, like I was saying yesterday, you got to lube right when you're having trouble holding on to everything, and right now I'm having trouble holding on to everything. So basically I'm gonna use this tool, tighten this portion up, it'll compress the rings, and then we can position it and put it in the piston. And while I do that, I'll turn this video off and you can go do whatever you do. All right, I have the piston installed in the ring compressor, all right? And as you can see, it's all tightened down around the rings. What I do have is, there's different ways to do it. I like to have the skirt out and I install it that way, all right? Some people have the whole piston in here and they pound it out, but I find my way works usually okay for me, right? Now, and this is kind of obvious, but if you don't think about it, you can make a mistake. I have this here, I have the cylinder here. All I gotta do is whip this piston down there, all right? Install it and push it in, right? And we're good to go. Except it's upside down, all right? So pay attention when you're putting the piston in that you put it in the right way. Because if you put it in upside down, you're gonna feel pretty stupid when you go to put it on the bike. Ask me how I know this, all right? Everybody makes mistakes. So I'm gonna get this set up and we'll put this piston in the cylinder. One thing I wanted to show you is on the pistons, some pistons are what's called directional, right? So if you see these dishes here where it's cut out, this is part of the compression building scheme of the engine. These dishes here are for the valves. When the piston comes up and the valves open, if they didn't have these dishes, the valves would hit the pistons. Now, some pistons, depending on cams, other stuff like that, the valve's going to stick out farther, and it might be important which direction you put the piston in. These aren't directional. If they were directional, you'd see a little arrow or some other indicator pointing to the front. All right, so you don't have to worry about it on this one, but just wanted to bring that up. All right, back to work. Come on, fuck. Alrighty, we got the piston ring compressor in place, got a piston in it, and we're gonna insert the piston in the cylinder. So the way we do that, we just take a hammer and we just beat the fuck out of it, and eventually it goes in there. No, that's not the way we do it. So we just take the wooden end of the handle here, and we start trying to hold the compressor in place, start driving the piston down. Hit too hard, just give a little bit of gentle persuasion. No piston. Piston. That's all you do. You tap it into place, and if you lubed it up real good, you shouldn't have any problems. And it's ready to mount on the motorcycle. Pretty exciting, huh? I told you, this isn't rocket science. Nothing that involves a hammer is rocket science, okay, sweetie? All right, I'll get the other one put in, and then we'll put one on a motorcycle, all right? Cool. All right, I have the cylinder and piston ready to go. You want to bring this skirt up as far as you can, but you can't come much farther than that, or the oil scraper ring will come out. What we're gonna do is take this, turn it upside down, and drop it on this back cylinder here. So I wiped off the sealing surfaces and got everything positioned, and wiped off the base here so it's nice and clean, and we're ready to go. Hang on. All right, here we go. I've got the piston located in the cylinder the way I want. I got the wrist pin started. Well, let's put it down where you can see it. I got the wrist pin started. I'm gonna drop this down. I'm gonna line up the connecting rod, push the wrist pin through, and it'll be on there. Now usually this is easier with two people, but well, I don't have any friends. Nobody likes me. I can't really blame them because I'm kind of an asshole. So get it in place, get the connecting rod up where we want it. Oop, got the pin sticking in too far. Everything drops down. I can see through there. Wrestle it a little bit. Bob's your uncle. It's on there. Now, what you don't want to ever do is forget to put that circlip in there. Many people have done it, all right? So let me put that circlip in there, and then I'll show you. Back in a bit. All right, I've installed the circlip on the other side. I checked both these circlips real close. It's the last chance you get to check it, and you know, check, and double check. So now I can pull out the rags that kept shit from falling down inside. I've already pulled these out once today and vacuumed this out, just to be sure. So now all we have to do, the first one's harder than the second one. The second one has a little bit of friction helping you. So now we just lower this whole shooting match onto here. And like I said, the first one always fights a little bit. That would blow. Down there. Everything lined up. There you go. It's in place. Super bitch and keen, huh? Okay. So there you, well, no, you don't. There you have it. Your cylinders made it up against the base gasket, and well, fuck. Let me change perspective here. Okay, so there you go. Nice seal with your base gasket. Got your stud sticking out, so that's always good. And check it out, you got a piston in there. Didn't forget your circlips. Now it's just wash, rinse and repeat, and do the front one. And I'm not going to video that because I think you get the general idea. All right, we'll see you tomorrow when we do something else exciting or mundane, whatever. Have a good one, girlie. All right, so one thing I want to talk about real quick before I quit. When you're putting these things together, I mean, when you first start, you really don't know, but you learn how much force to use. You know, they always say, you know, don't force it. Well, sometimes you have to use more force than others. And that's just something you're gonna have to learn with touch. And like when I was putting that cylinder on, it kind of hung up, and I could have just, you know, but that would have fucked everything up. I could tell that there was something hung up. But then when I got it in place, I still had to put quite a bit of pressure. So it's just something you learn over time. Don't sweat it. All right, bye.